Tell me whether or not you think that COP21 has been successful in its aims.
The conference itself doesn't solve global warming or come anywhere close, but there's a lot of great activism going on around it, and the movement building's pretty good. I mean, we're getting bigger and bigger all the time, and that's putting real pressure on the fossil fuel industry.
What would you see as being successful steps, though, like concrete measures that would say this conference has been more successful? As you said earlier, there's been 21 conferences.
So we'll come out with an agreement that actually tries to say, here are some things that different countries are going to do. That's a beginning. It's the first time. They aren't particularly ambitious things, and they're not going to solve the problem, but they've started, and they've promised they'll come back, or they're going to promise that they're going to come back every 5 years and review it. That may be the single most useful thing in the treaty that they're signing.
So there's been a lot of talk about President Obama creating a climate legacy, but at the same time, he's been pushing the TPP. Can we really take him seriously if...
Well, you might want to take him seriously because he is President of the United States, but there's
But to create a climate legacy with the TPP ongoing...
No, look, he's had a long pattern of one step forward and one step back, and it's continuing this week. They're trying to lift the ban on oil exports in the U.S., even as they're here at this conference in Paris. So his legacy is deeply muddled. He's done some good things. He's, done more than any other president in history, but that's, I've drunk more beer than my 14-year-old niece, too, so,
You do a lot of work with Naomi Klein. Can you talk about the tie between trade pacts and climate change?
Yeah, it's a bad idea to keep, what we learned from the 90s was these things are not helpful in this fight, and it sounds like the TPP has been larded with some particularly poisonous passages that will make any action on climate change that much harder, which we do not need.
So, last question, if there's anything that you could personally say to President Obama on the topic of climate and trade, or climate just period, what would you say to him?
I'd say this is no longer a situation where you get to treat it as a normal political problem and do a kind of endless series of trade-offs to try and keep everybody happy. You're negotiating ultimately with physics, and physics doesn't negotiate. So you better start, coming down hard on the same side every time.
Under the surface makes the mainstream get so nervous. It's time for purpose, for news to serve us, not with propaganda they use to hurt